Welcome. It is July 1st. My name is Lee Altman. I serve as Vice Chair on the Board of County Commissioners, sitting in for our illustrious Chair, Mark Jarrell, tonight. Welcome, and we will start off, as we always do, with introductions on my right.
Good afternoon, good morning. Good evening, I am Christine Smith, Clerk to the Board.
Good evening, I am Marlissa Easton, Deputy Clerk to the Board.
Good evening. My name is Yvette Townsend Ingram. I serve you on the Board of County Commission at large. Welcome.
Good evening. I am Mecklenburg County Commissioner Elaine Powell, representing District 1, which is North Mecklenburg, Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and North Charlotte. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm George Dunlap, elected by the people of District 3. Good evening.
Good evening. Again, my name is Lee Altman, and I will take this moment to tell you all that you are here for a special night. It is the very first meeting of our newly inducted County Manager, Mike Bryant.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Arthur Griffin. I have the pleasure of serving County Commissioner at large.
Good afternoon. My name is Vilma D. Leake, and I represent the most powerful district in the county, and that's District 2. Welcome.
Good evening, I'm Laura Meyer, and I represent District 5.
Hello, I'm Susan Rodriguez McDowell. I'm elected by the people of District 6.
Good evening, I'm Mike Bryan, Mecklenburg County Manager.
Yay!
Good evening, Tyrone Wade, County Attorney.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to all of our guests tonight. At this time, I will turn to Commissioner Laura Meyer for our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you very much. Tonight I'm reading a poem by Joe Harjo, who was the first Native American Poet Laureate from 2019 to 2022. I'm thinking of what happened today in the U.S. Senate and how hopeless some people might feel, and I found this poem and it gives me hope. Once the world was perfect and we were happy in that world, then we took it for granted. Discontent began, a small rumble in the earthly mind, then doubt pushed through with its spiked head, and once doubt ruptured the web, all manner of demon thoughts jumped through. We destroyed the world we had been given for inspiration, for life. Each stone of jealousy, each stone of fear, greed, envy, and hatred put out the light. Not one was without a stone in his or her hand. There we were, right back where we had started. We were bumping into each other in the dark. And now we had no place to live, since we didn't know how to live with each other. Then one of the stumbling ones took pity on another and shared a blanket. A spark of kindness made a light. The light made an opening in the darkness. Everyone worked together to make a ladder. And a one clan person climbed out first into the next world, and then the other clans, the children of those clans, their children, and their children, all the way through time to now, into this morning, light to you. Would you please stand with me for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will turn to our awards and recognition portion of our agenda, and I call upon, with much pleasure, Commissioner Elaine Powell to read our Park and Recreation Month proclamation.
Thank you. If you don't know it, I am a lifelong park advocate, and I will be one until I draw my last breath.
Good.
Whereas, park and recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Mecklenburg County. And whereas, park and recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near and who use our parks. And whereas, park and recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses. Whereas Park and Rec encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, aquatic facilities, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities, such as out-of-school activities, youth sports, and environmental education, are critical to childhood development. And whereas Park and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, and whereas Park and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change, and whereas our park and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors, and whereas for 40 years, people in the United States have celebrated Park and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, and resilient communities, and to recognize the more than 160,000 full-time park and recreation professionals, along with the hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal workers who maintain our recreational spaces. And whereas Mecklenburg County recognizes the benefits derived from park and recreation resources, now therefore be it resolved by Mecklenburg County that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month and is celebrating with the national theme of Build Together, Play Together in the County of Mecklenburg, North Carolina. Signed, Mark D. Jarrell, Chairman, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. And I want to add to that before I move to make a motion, that this morning I was reading about hazard mitigation. And, you know, sometimes when you think about Parks and Rec, you don't think about hazard mitigation. And so a reporter from WFAE was interviewing Chief Graham about, you know, what we can do to decrease the threat of urban heat. And one of the things that first came to his mind was, he said, there are a lot of things that as an emergency manager I would like to see. We need our natural space, and we need more trees all the time, more trees. And I just want to remind everyone here that Park and Rec does significant work of protecting our natural resources, our tree canopy, and everything that's related to that. And without that, we would be in trouble. And so the environmental impact of our parks is big, and I just wanted to bring that up because I love that Chief Graham brought that up today. It is real. So moved for this proclamation.
Having been moved and properly seconded, would any one of my colleagues like to speak to this?
I want to speak to it. I've received several calls about Park and Rec, from a positive perspective to those in District 2 might be negatively impacted, and they asked me to speak to it. So we, as a board, support greenways, we support parks for families, but we cannot allow the drug dealers to come in and take over the park. We are not policemen. We're not there to police anybody. We used to have that coverage, but we need to bring it back. But we're depending upon the neighborhoods to help us keep those areas clean as possible, but safe for our seniors and our children. So all I'm saying to the public, help us to keep it safe for our senior citizens and our children in the neighborhood. Those are your parks. Don't let anybody come in and take over your property, which is your park. And I needed to say that because I've been receiving telephone calls that we were not supporting parks. We do support parks. We support greenways. The lady just told you she was in favor of greenways. There are those of us who prefer parks to greenways. But whatever, the community is being provided with those. All I'm saying is, let's keep them safe for our babies, our seniors, and for the community, and for families. Whether you're married or not, you go to the park. Take your girlfriend or your boyfriend to the park. So thank you for allowing me to say that, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Leek. And before anyone else speaks, I was remiss in not asking the Park and Rec Director to please come down and introduce himself to receive it. Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Walker, we look forward to you introducing everyone who's with you, but let me just see if there's anyone else on the dais who wants to speak to this before we turn it over to you. Any other colleagues?
I would just like for the Director of Park and Rec to introduce all these awesome people, because
Yeah.
I see Chris Hunter.
Yep. Stands out.
The floor is yours.
So yes, this is, I believe it's the 30th year that the National Recreation and Parks Association has put forth an encouragement for everyone to recognize July as National Park and Recreation Month. And although I've only been here a little over 4 months, I'm that's not true anymore. We're 6 months at this point. It is impressive, the team that this county has representing them every day. And you're absolutely right, Commissioner, in how important the parks are to the communities that they serve, because they're indistinguishable. And that is a testament to the men and women, the more than 500 full-time employees who make up Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation. And so, starting down there, again, there are a lot of faces you'll recognize because pretty much any park program you're at, they're going to be there. We have Peter Cook, who's the Deputy Director of Parks. We have Justin, who is our Superintendent of Enterprise. I hope I got that right. Alima, who is a superintendent over our neighborhood community centers. Acting Division Director, but Superintendent in Park Operations, Chris Hunter. Jeff Carwile, who is the Division Director over Recreation and Aquatics, and Chris Matthews, who is over our natural resources. And so, again, the hard work they do every day, we appreciate you recognizing that, not just today, but every day, and we thank you so much for your support.
Round of applause for these great public servants. Yes, absolutely. Would you like to come get the...
Yeah, come on. That's good call. Smarter, not harder, Chris.
Start on the end there.
Hey, what about us, Chuck?
Start on the end.
What, are we nothing?
No.
I appreciate it, you know that. Thank you for all your
Congratulations, thank you.
so much for my
Congratulations, thank you.
coming out tonight.
Remember our first walk
Thank you.
at Colonial Pipeline.
Congratulations and thank you. Congratulations and thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Yes.
All right, yeah, let's take a picture.
Oh, Elaine Powell, a fan of yours. Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Just turn around.
You were going to take your picture, Peter.
Peter, you missed 2 people.
You fine.
Make sure he gets everyone's.
Can you give Commissioner Lee?
Yeah. Right there, thank you, everybody. Right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Right there. One more here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good stuff. All right, at this time, I will call on...
We need a motion.
Oh, wait, we have a motion and a second, but we have not carried the motion. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is unanimous. Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I will turn to Commissioner George Dunlap for the Americans with Disabilities Act Disability Pride Day.
Disability.
All right. Would the person who is assigned to accept this proclamation please come to the podium?
Yeah, disability.
Judith Brown said yesterday that somebody was supposed to call her Saturday.
Thank you. It is my honor to read this proclamation from both the City of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. Joint proclamation. Whereas on July 26, 1990, President George H. Walker Bush signed into law the Americans with Disabilities Act, also known as ADA, a historic piece of civil rights legislation that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities and ensures equal opportunity in employment, government services, public accommodations, commercial facilities, and transportation. And whereas July 26, 2025 marks the 35th anniversary of the signing of the American with Disabilities Act, a landmark law that continues to serve as a powerful affirmation of our nation's commitment to accessibility for all. Over the past 35 years, the ADA has expanded opportunities for people with disabilities by reducing barriers, improving access, transforming public spaces, increasing civic engagement, and reshaping societal attitudes toward disabilities. And whereas Charlotte celebrates and honors the significant contributions, resilience, and achievements of individuals with disabilities, while acknowledging the work that remains to achieve full ADA compliance and true equity. We reaffirm our commitment to advancing accessibility in our built environment, digital services, communication tools, programs, and public engagement efforts, and to uphold the right and dignity of all people. And whereas we recognize and commend the many individuals, organizations, businesses, and community leaders who champion inclusion by removing physical and attitudinal barriers and by creating environments where all people, regardless of ability, can thrive, we envision a community where every resident is seen, respected, and empowered, and where accessibility and opportunity are cornerstones of civic life, are reflected in policy, practice, and progress. Now, therefore, we, by Alexander Lyles, Mayor of the City of Charlotte, and Mark Jarrell, Chair of the Mecklenburg Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim July 26, 2025 as Americans with Disabilities Act Disability Pride Day in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, and encourage all residents to celebrate this milestone, reflect on the progress made, and renew our collective commitment to building a community that welcomes, includes, and uplifts every person. Witness our hands in the official seals of the City of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, signed by Alexander Lyles, Mayor of Charlotte, and Mark Jarrell, Chair of Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. At this time, we'll turn to you for comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Dunlap, and thank you for the Board of County Commissioners for accepting us today. My name is Timothy Tibbs. I am the county's ADA coordinator, and it's been a pleasure just to come today. We thought it fitting, especially now, as it seems that the support for our most vulnerable population is being questioned, that we come up today and reiterate our support of the work that we do to improve accessibility in the community. Mecklenburg County is still going to serve all of our community and its residents. So I have with me my partner in crime. I call her Carla Gray. I call her the county's co-ADA coordinator because she has over 25 years of dedicated service. And although she's with Park and Recreation, she touches every element, and she's critical to the work that I do and the work of the county. I also have with me members of our county ADA team that could be here. I have right here James Spann and Serena Diger. Also, those who could not be here, I wanted to give them a shout out if that's okay. David Geezer, Ramona Jackson, Twyla Hollingsworth, Albert Jamison, Leo Kaplanitis, Mike Taylor, Adriana Johnson, and Bernice Clybourne. So we also want to take time to recognize our counterparts of the city under the leadership of County ADA Coordinator Terry Bradley and Willie Ratchford. They have been critical as our counterparts for many years, and we work closely with them. And we have, I think, Leslie Briggs here, who's their program manager. And last but not least, we have Disability Rights and Resources, who provides an invaluable service to Mecklenburg County and the surrounding areas. Many times, as a Title II entity, I get calls that the county does not have the authority to touch. But every single time, I can reach out to Disability Rights and Resources, and they advocate, and they do things that the county simply cannot do in our role. So I want to recognize that these people and these organizations are critical, and we have redoubled our efforts to make sure that we're going to stand firm together. And in doing so, if you can see the screen, we have a joint, ADA Nights at the ballpark. So this is a collaboration with the Knights Charlotte Knights, Mecklenburg County, the City of Charlotte, and Disability Rights and Resources. So I apologize if I'm out of order and bring my team out like that, but it was fitting for them to, as they work behind the scenes, you never really see the thousands of programs touched, the 300-400 different properties, greenways, and physical spaces. So we want to make sure that they have an opportunity to come to you and receive and be a part of this recognition. Thank you so much.
All right, before I offer this for approval, let me just take this moment to say that oftentimes you hear me talk about Tim, and Tim does everything. Well, Tim does ADA as well. So when you don't know what to do or you don't know who to call, Tim's the person. I've complimented him a number of times from the dais, so thank you for all you do. So this time I offer a motion to approve the proclamation.
So move.
Second.
The motion having been made and properly seconded, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you. Timothy, thank you so much for bringing this to us and to all of your partners up there. I wanted to just, I knew this was going to be on the agenda tonight, and I read something this morning that I thought was really fitting, and it was about the Beckler Museum and an exhibition that they have going on right now. And the question was, who is a museum for? What does it mean to create a museum that is for everyone, including those with disabilities? Not just wheelchair accessible, but visually impaired. So I just encourage everyone to check out the Beckler Museum exhibition called Collection Reframed. We Are Here Beyond Vision. And it's at the Beckler until September 22nd. So starting tomorrow.
Thank you for that.
So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Leek.
Let me say thank you. Tim, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, ma'am.
And appreciate the committee that you have. But I'm disappointed from the perspective that many of our buildings in Mecklenburg County are not accessible for handicapped people, whether it's visible or physical. And many people look down on people who have disabilities. Because when I fell, I was told, you better find your own way in the building by the chairman of the board, which I thought was very much out of order. I can't forget that. And I want to thank our manager today, who was able to help me when I fell in the building. I haven't sued the building, but Dina provided the mobility for me to get around, and people have volunteered to assist me. So when we talk about it, we ought to make sure we tell it all. So I needed to say here today that at some point, I have felt been left out of many of issues and many times discussions by saying that nobody was going to help me. If you got in, you better come in the front door. So I'm saying to us, this building belongs to the city. It doesn't belong to the county. And we must address these issues as they appear to us, and not just by proclamation, but doing something with it. I can witness it, and I'm saying what I experienced, and I appreciate those who have helped me mobilize my knees. I stopped going to therapy because I had to vote on the budget. You can't vote from home. You have to be in your seat to vote for the budget. So I gave up my ability to do that, to represent my people. But I'll start therapy again in 2 weeks. So hopefully my mobility will be better. So I can't say I don't appreciate this proclamation, but I'm praying that others will not have the same experience that I experienced from some of these people on this board. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Leek.
And the chair was the main person.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you. And thank you, Tim. And thanks for bringing your team. And it's not inappropriate. It's very appropriate. And I see a rock star behind you, Carla Gray. And I just want to, at this time, talk about why it's so important to me to have therapeutic recreation programming, to serve the Americans that do have disabilities. And so quite often when you're doing budgets, it's a category that kind of gets overlooked. And so I don't want it to get overlooked because it's so important that we meet the needs of everyone. And Carla worked for, I don't know how many years, many decades in Park and Recreation. And so it's just really nice to have you all here. And this is another reason why therapeutic programming is so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. The motion having been moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously passes. Would you like to come down to accept it?
Thank you.
George said you gotta find somebody to put you in. I told the truth. I didn't know we had a committee.
Congratulations, thank you. Congratulations, and thank you.
I need to talk to you.
No, I admire you.
Congratulations,
I
and
didn't
thank
know
you.
we had a committee. I said I didn't. Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, honey.
It's great to see you.
Thank you for your work.
Congratulations, and thank you. What can I say?
Telling me I better find my own way.
Jane,
Thank you. Thank you. I won't even call you by your nickname. Thank you.
great. Center on us, yeah.
I won't do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Appreciate y'all. All right, at this time, we will turn to public appearance. I have to read some guidelines. We have about 7 folks signed up to speak. And while I read them, let's go ahead and call Maurice Reed, Adaya Upadhyaya, and Mike Fennis to my right, and Adam Ullman, Patrice Hollis, and Jordan Hood to my left. All right. Public appearance is the period during the board's regular meeting that members of the public are provided the opportunity to speak on matters not appearing on the agenda. Members of the public who appear during the public appearance portion of a regular meeting may discuss any matter within the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners, except for the following types of matters: a matter which appears on the agenda of that meeting of the board, a matter which concerns the candidacy of any person for public office, including the candidacy of the person appearing before the board, a request that the board considers funding a certain program or activity, either from the current budget or by inclusion in a future budget. Such request would be made at the board's annual budget public hearing. The time limit for speaking is 3 minutes unless there are 4 more speakers who wish to speak concerning the same matter, in which case all persons wishing to speak on the same matter will be considered a group, given a total of 10 minutes. The board reserves the right to alter these rules on a case-by-case basis as necessary for the efficient and effective conduct of business. Members of the board will not engage in dialogue with public appearance speakers. Comments will be received and followed up on as applicable by county staff and/or members of the board. Handouts and/or tokens shall be given to the clerk for distribution to the board at the conclusion of the meeting. Members of the public can also access and view the meeting on the government channel or online at watch.MeckNC.gov. All right, Maurice Reed, you are up.
How we guys doing today? All right, very good. Yes, my name is Maurice Reed, and what I have to say is called a clarion call for better housing. A clarion call for better housing. My name is Maurice Reed. I'm the founder and executive of a nonprofit called Suited for Veterans. We help with the social and financial needs of U.S. veterans to transition into society. And y'all know it's a lifelong process. This evening, I wish to address the situations about the Charlotte Mecklenburg and stand up for what is right to help the most vulnerable yet honorable. The most vulnerable yet honorable, and that is homeless vets. A little bit about myself. I was a homeless and unhoused vet myself. When I was injured in a workman's comp situation, and I was also a caregiver for my mother who survived cancer, but still suffering from the effects of chemo. Once I got back on my feet and fought for the very benefits my mother and I were entitled, I made sure that no U.S. veteran encountered the hardships I had to suffer. That's why my remarks is called Clarion Call, because the meaning of that statement means to bring awareness to something that needs to happen immediately, which is what the Clarion Call means. Charlotte is going to be hit with a wave of social and financial issues that will hit U.S. veterans like a ton of bricks with today's society and political climate. One of the things that needs to happen is attention to nonprofits, basically like myself, that must be broadened and must be looked at. Too many nonprofits are basically a world of disservice to those in need. What is the end game of what Charlotte is going to do with the draconian cuts, federal, state, and county? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When you see homeless vets even increase even more. Charlotte Council, please make sure that veteran nonprofits like myself get the credibility and respect they deserve. So we need to stop looking for the government to come to our aid. We need to be held accountable for our own selves. Those guys who are scamming the system, my nonprofit, Maurice Reed Suitor for Veterans, needs to reign true to make sure that situations like that and people are held accountable. In a military statement, we always say, hold the line. That's just a form of task force to stand strong and stand true to make sure things of this caliber never happen again. Thank you again. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Adya?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Please, go ahead.
Good evening, Madam Clerk, Mr. Chairman, esteemed commissioners, and the audience. Thank you all for allowing me to have the honor of speaking here today. My name is Adya Upadhyaya. I'm a rising junior at Providence High School and a member of South Charlotte 4-H, as well as our county's delegate for the 2025 Youth Voice. As part of that delegation, my pre-conference duties include giving a speech about an issue faced by the youth in my community, which I'll be doing here today. When I was brainstorming ideas and issues for this speech, I thought back to the time my 8th grade science teacher taught us a lesson on food insecurities and food deserts. What started as a classroom topic quickly became personal as I discovered it was a very real problem affecting thousands of lives right here in Mecklenburg County. So let me start by defining what food insecurity even means. Food insecurity means not having reliable access to enough affordable and nutritious food. In Mecklenburg County alone, 12% of households, including many with school-aged children, experience this on a daily basis. It might mean skipping meals, eating less than needed, or relying on cheap processed foods because it's all that's available. Students who face food insecurity are more likely to struggle in school. They're also at a greater risk for health problems such as obesity, diabetes, and anxiety, all of which can follow them into adulthood. That's exactly why addressing food insecurity and poor nutrition among youth is so important. If we want to create a strong, successful future for Mecklenburg County, we need to make sure all of our young people are growing up with access to the most basic foundation for success, healthy food and the knowledge to make healthy choices. Now let me talk about the solutions for this problem while also addressing how 4-H can help. Throughout North Carolina, 4-H is known for having an agricultural-leaning role, but here in Mecklenburg County, we have taken that idea for a bigger purpose and have allowed dozens of kids in urban settings to take an interest in healthy food choices. One solution to combat this issue is to support youth-led community gardens. For example, at our 4-H chapter, we have a community garden at Elon Recreation Center where citizens can learn about responsibility and teamwork while also putting healthy food directly into the hands of those who need it. Through 4-H, we can host nutrition education workshops, and partner with local food banks and grocery stores to redirect surplus food into families in need. As a club, we've already sparked initiation when we hosted a summer news series program with Queen City News called Homegrown, where members portrayed sustainable gardening tips and practices to help thousands of viewers in the community learn how to produce their own fresh produce in their very own backyards. I haven't been a 4-H member for too long, but in my time at the club, I've had the chance to learn about gardening, healthy living, and leadership. Through 4-H, I feel empowered that I can make a real difference in our community. As I conclude this speech, I want to inform everyone again that food insecurity is a challenge, but it's one that we can tackle together. By investing in youth-led solutions, education, and partnerships, we can create a healthier, more hopeful future for all young people in Mecklenburg County. Thank you again for your time and for giving youth a voice in shaping the future of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Fennis.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Manager. My name is Mike Fenice, and I am the president of the Charlotte Firefighters Association. And we stand firmly with Chief Johnson and every fire chief across Mecklenburg County to eliminate medic holds and medic routines. We are aligned in our mission to ensure that citizens receive the emergency response they expect and deserve. This is not a city versus county issue. This is a public safety issue, plain and simple. Right now, Charlotte firefighters and firefighters across Mecklenburg County are spending too long on scene waiting for medic units to arrive or transport patients. Every minute our crews are tied up waiting is a minute they are not available to respond to the next fire, vehicle extrication, cardiac arrest, or serious emergency. This places our citizens in danger. Every single call that we cannot respond to immediately because we are waiting on a medic is another life potentially placed at risk. We continue to hear the discussion referencing 300 fire trucks within the county. The reality, those 300 trucks, only about 100 are staffed full-time, ready to roll at a moment's notice. Citing the large number inflates expectations while ignoring operational facts. We needed to focus on reality of our emergency response resources, not theoretical truck counts. Additionally, we want to make it clear that negotiations to solve this crisis require both parties to negotiate in good faith. Right now, Medic is not doing that. We need transparent, constructive conversations. We need the data to prioritize the changes necessary we need to this public safety be put first, not be put after a dollar amount. The people of Mecklenburg County deserve leadership willing to address these problems, not avoid them. Today's fire service is not sitting around waiting for the next call. The modern fire service is an all hazards department. Fire departments respond to hazardous materials, vehicle extrications, specialty rescues, including high angle, trench, confined space, USAR, swift water, dive, amongst many other. These disciplines take continued training with required other training required by the state of North Carolina. The fact is this: we do not sit around with nothing better to do waiting for the next call. This is not just about the numbers. It's about our mothers, fathers, children, and grandparents in this community who depend on us to arrive quickly at their moment of need. Time is ticking. We ask you to make the changes now and not kick the can down the road. I want to thank you for listening, and we look forward to the changes that are necessary and needed.
Thank you, sir. Adam Ullman.
My name is Adam Ullman. I'm a nationally registered paramedic, but tonight I'm here as a resident, one who lived through something I never imagined. 2 weeks ago, I was in a motorcycle accident here in Charlotte on a 45-mile-an-hour road. It was a bad crash. Witnesses immediately called for help. My arm was broken so bad, it hung from my shoulder like a rope. I laid my head on my backpack, trying not to lose consciousness. Bystanders, complete strangers, pulled blankets from their own cars to keep me warm as I started going into shock. And then we waited and waited and waited. The response time for medic was over 20 minutes. I remained on the side of the road for 32 minutes before the ambulance started moving. 20 minutes for a motorcycle accident on a main road isn't an oversight. It's a dangerous delay that could cost lives. Since medic loves to throw around the terms standard of care and national standard, for trauma, that's the golden hour, 60 minutes. From the moment of the incident to the operating table. Every minute matters. When you're laying on the pavement, scared, broken, in pain, unsure, time moves different. Each minute feels like an eternity. The fire department sat with me for 15 of those minutes, helpless, because there was nothing they could do at their scope of practice. I know the system's strained. I've seen it firsthand. But allowing delayed responses and medic routines, which my accident was, medic holds, limiting lights and sirens isn't the answer. The citizens deserve more than that. The taxpayers deserve more. You and your neighbors. Nothing's going to change until one of your family members happens too. Because if you actually cared, it wouldn't have gone on this long. All the taxpayers deserve better. Every resident. No one should have to wait 20 minutes for an ambulance. I appreciate your time and urge you to stop letting medic run the show.
Thank you. Patrice Hollis.
Greetings. This county's misconduct go far beyond overspending on the things that meets the board's agenda as if the constituents don't matter. In this ongoing 3-year battle and special proceedings, I provided the proof of burden even when it was not my obligation, according to Superior Judge Cruiton in this county. To now, having a missing trial and evidence that will bring freedom to the entire county and the state by simply following the Constitution this county violated. I've reached out to ask for help and further assistance on resolving this matter and have gotten hung up on, thank you, Commissioner Dunlap, or pushed off, completely ignored. Thank you to everyone here, for this is not my first time speaking. Thank you to the retired county manager and the county's attorney. Thank you to the North Carolina Department of Justice, North Carolina FBI, Governor Roy, Mayor of Charlotte, Attorney General, and every other public servant I contacted that chose not to serve the public, including the clerk of court, who has yet to contact me back. Is this county going to continue in this manner? Are you going to uphold the Constitution in Article 10 in the North Carolina State Constitution and do what's ethically correct, or continue to violate the Constitution and rob the people and the public? Lastly, there have been a number of Constitution violations as well as USC codes violations in this one case that is missing, which is why my shirt says, Mecklenburg, where is my trial? And I hope the hashtag go viral. My missing trial on December 20th, 2024 was copied to a disc from this county, waiting on me December 23rd, 2024, which was the Monday right after the Friday trial. The formal request protocol was not followed because they had no intentions or plans to enter the trial or evidence on the record. I'm demanding full equitable remedy and relief for damages caused in this county by this county. Please help me make this go viral, and we need help. This is for elderly. We need to direct our attention to the city because they need us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hollis. And finally, Jordan Hood.
Good evening, and to the honorable members of the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners. My name is Jordan Hood. I proudly serve as the Vice President of the Charlotte Firefighters Association, Local 660. I come before you tonight not only on behalf of our members, but for the sake of every citizen and visitor in the city of Charlotte and the greater Mecklenburg County. Like many others who have spoken before me, and many of you have served alongside us in various capacities, I wear many hats in service to this community. Over the past 20-plus years, I've had the honor of serving in fire and EMS organizations, large and small, urban and rural, and even within a structure nearly identical to the current model operating in our region. Unfortunately, I've also witnessed time and time again the same systematic failure that plagues EMS delivery across our country. The erosion of our most vital priority, which is rapid response and swift hospital transport. It is a national problem, yes, but one that continues to manifest here at home with alarming and increasingly dire consequences. I could speak with justified frustration and anger. However, after all, our firefighters and first responders have endured relentless strain, resource abuse, and diminishing support. But instead, I choose to channel that passion into education and truth. The citizens of Mecklenburg County deserve to know what their fire services are truly up against, and more importantly, what we are asking of you: fairness, accountability, and commitment to meaningful, long overdue change. We are not asking for handouts. We are asking for respect for our personnel for the vital work they do. We are asking that the burden placed on fire services to compensate for medic shortcomings be recognized and addressed. We are asking that the resources our communities depend on be funded in line with today's operational costs, not yesterday's budget math. Last month, I sent you an email detailing a call that disturbs me to this day. In May of 2023, during a fatal uptown fire, I responded on the second due engine company. In the closest unit, a resource that could have arrived first was unavailable, tied up on a low acuity call, held under medics protocol awaiting transport. When we arrived, conditions were dire, and tragically, we found a deceased individual. And I firmly believe that had the closest engine arrived, the outcome may have been different. But it doesn't stop there. Over the past 3 years, our fire service have adapted the first due software platform to improve data. But collaboration from medic has been consistently absent. Why won't medic be...
Thank you, sir. Please feel free to submit the rest of your comments to the clerk, and she can share it with all of us. We certainly want to hear it. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry. We have one more speaker. I apologize, Fran Walker.
What district is she
from? What district are you from? Do you know?
Oh, my name is Fran Walker.
Okay.
I'm with Sons of the Queen Foundation.
Okay.
She's with who?
Oh, Mecklenburg.
Sons of a Queen. What did she say?
Who is she with?
Tell us your organization again.
Sons of the Queen Foundation.
Okay. We'll confirm that for you, Commissioner Leek. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm a fast speaker, so I'm going to go as quickly as I can.
No, you take your time. You're good.
Hello, Queens of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County Commissioner, public viewers, and attendees. My wig about to go sideways. My name is Fran Walker, a Queen on a Mission. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce my 501c3 nonprofit Sons of a Queen Foundation. The purpose of the foundation is to guide a target group of ninth graders, high schoolers, towards a positive life outcome and away from gangs and gun violence. I am a veteran of higher education, mother of 2 sons, and one who was shot and killed, and my son Zay, who is currently seeking to become a city firefighter. I started Sons of a Queen Foundation because I was always sacrificing personal time and finance to support young males from losing focus of their future goals. I had struggles, homelessness, relationship barriers, yet through the hardship, I pressed on to succeed in life. Through my parenting, my son seems to always be leaving home from school with stress from our situations. I would say to them, my life status and your temporary situation, go to school and strive for a better life outcome. I have realized that it was impossible for a child to comprehend when the clothing shone on their body as they dressed, depressed, and others judged it, in which prevented them from learning. Some of the Sons of the King Foundation assist with redefining goals and makeovers for applicants to make a difference in the productive citizenship, contributing to the county and the economic growth. I would like to connect with local entities, share the purpose of donating money, and talk about the positive life outcomes and inspire individuals to keep hope alive and succeed. You can reach me at info@queenonthemission.com, and a host of information and links to donate far as the money and contribution is on my website at www.queenonthemission.com. Now, I want to say this. I want to be able to, the foundation has a lot of criteria and guidelines. Right now with the public system faced with so many diversities and so many obstacles, this here allows the young man to put back into the focus of his goal. When you go into high school, I remember seeing my son along with other young boys going to ninth grade. They're excited about it, but when they get there, depression, the way they look at the shoes, look at the clothing. If you can take away some of this presentation and put them into the situation where they can focus on education, my program also requires them to work at age 14. It also requires them to join ROTC.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Feel free to submit the remainder of your comments to the clerk. All right, at this time, we will turn to the appointments on our agenda. Reappointment is needed on the Town of Mint Hill Planning Board for a 2-year term expiring June 30th, 2027. Roger Hendricks, ETJ member, is eligible for reappointment and I believe received unanimous recommendation from the Town of Mint Hill. Is there a motion to reappoint?
Second.
Motion having been made and properly seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion passes. All right, appointments are needed on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council to fill 3 2-year terms expiring June 30th, 2027. The JCPC Nominating Committee has recommended Ada Alcala, Kanisha Cannon, Tamron Jones, Aquil Nicholson, and Tavia Tubbs. Because we have more people than we have slots, I will call out each name in the order that they appear. Each name that gets a majority of 5 votes will be appointed. Once we appoint 3 nominees, the voting will be closed.
Any of these candidates here?
Yes, ma'am, you can vote for any of these.
No, I'm saying, are they present?
Oh, are any of the candidates in the House?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right.
Madam
Yes, ma'am.
Chair, before you start
Yes,
the
sir.
vote, I'd like to advocate on behalf of Ada Akela. I think all of you should have received an email from her talking about her background and what
Who's
she
that?
had to offer.
The first one.
Ada.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dunlap, any other advocacy? Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
I'd like to advocate on behalf of Stephanie from Collins. She is actually in the audience tonight. Thank you and welcome. She is a dedicated teacher and a leader within the community. So I'd like to advocate on her behalf.
Thank you. Any other advocacy? Commissioner Leek.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for answering my question, please. The young lady who stood represents us well in the community and throughout the school system. She is an expert at working with young people and working with people, period. If you've been a part of any exhibits or anything that's going on in the community that deals with a given political party, you would recognize her and know who she is. So I have to support Stephanie. And I can't pronounce the last name. She'll have to pronounce that for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Leek.
I'm asking you to please consider her in this process of representing the people, not just District 2, but the people. So thank you for offering yourself.
Thank you, Commissioner Leek.
And thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
I just want to talk about Tavia Tubbs, and all of you received an email from her as well. I was incredibly impressed with everything she wrote about, everything about herself, her resume, everything. So I just want to put a plug in for her.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Yes, and I wanted to also advocate for Tamara Jones, whom I received a letter from, and I think everyone did, that her qualifications are extremely compelling.
Thank you. Any other advocacy from, yes, sir?
Could you again tell me the 3 people that were recommended?
Yes, I will. The JCPC Nominating Committee recommended Ada Alcala, Kanisha Cannon, Tamron Jones, Aquil Nicholson, and Tavia Tubbs. And because that's more than 3 people, I had reached out to see if they had narrowed it to 3 people. And the update that I received was in this order: William Vasquez, Ada Alcala, and Tamara Jones. And that's therefore who I'll be supporting, even though there are many wonderful candidates who I think would do an amazing job, including those who are in the chamber. So. All right, at this time, I will go ahead and
go by the list.
So Ada Alcala, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she is appointed. Kanisha Cannon. All right. Stephanie Frempong. All right, that's 4. Tamara Jones. 1, 2, 3. Aquil Nicholson. Tavia Tubbs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tavia is appointed. And William Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have, I believe, Madam Clerk, Tavia Tubbs and Ada Alcala appointed, but we had a tie for Stephanie and William, so we will do another vote. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney? Okay. All right, all those in favor of Stephanie Frempong, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are appointed. Congratulations. Thank you so much for offering yourself for service. All right, at this time, I will turn to the manager for his manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Let me first begin my report by saying Happy New Year. Today is the first day of the new fiscal year 2026, and the year is off to a great start. There are 2 items I have under my manager's report this evening. The first one is pertaining to emergency medical services, and it is specifically for the board and the public awareness. The board may recall back on April 23rd, 2025, our chairman hosted a joint meeting with the city, town, and county managers and elected officials to discuss medic and first responder services. And at this meeting, it was decided to contract with a third party to complete an independent study of the emergency medical services system. Last week, on June 26, I hosted a meeting with the city and town managers, as well as medic, to finalize the project scope. And in your packet, you have a copy of the project scope that was agreed upon by all parties. I won't read the entire scope to you, but there are some highlights that I'd just like again to bring to your attention for awareness as it relates to what that project scope entails. It is 2 parts. The first part of the project scope is evaluating the current EMS system model, which includes looking at the service delivery, patient outcomes, roles and responsibilities, and particularly as it relates to roles and responsibilities, identify all North Carolina statutory rules and regulations for roles and responsibilities for county EMS and for municipal fire departments providing first responder services, and also evaluate the role of municipal fire departments as first responders within an EMS system, including which entities provide response to emergency and non-emergency calls. Also in that section, there will be a review of the current EMS goals and performance standards, the response zone analysis, historical and current performance analysis, system-wide operations review, and customer experience evaluation. The second part of this 2-part study will include an evaluation of EMS system funding model, which looks at the cost for services, funding sources and distribution, the funding levels and formulas, budget and sustainability, and then, of course, it will include a set of recommendations. In particular, what I'd like to bring the board's attention to in this scope is under Section 3, which is recommendations, Item 1B, which is to compare the existing EMS system model to other EMS system models in similar states and nationwide counties, determine whether a system model change should be considered or not, and make recommendations as to benefits of any proposed system model change. I wanted to raise that because this was one of the areas that the group reached a consensus on to move forward with this study. So I just want to publicly acknowledge the city manager, the town managers, as well as EMS for coming together, reaching a consensus, and understanding how important this project is to get it up and moving. The next step is to establish a steering committee, and then that group will work towards developing an RFP. That concludes my first item, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure I'm totally understanding. It sounds like, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the only folks that were included in the meeting were town managers, county manager, town and city managers.
That's correct.
And EMS, but, so that doesn't include any one of the fire folks?
I can't tell you whether or not when each manager went to review the draft, if they engaged with their fire chiefs. They had that opportunity if they chose to do so.
Okay.
But in terms of the meeting, you're correct. That was the only ones in attendance.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking this is because at the meeting that we were just at last week, where we had all the fire chiefs, Commissioner Jarrell had advocated for all the stakeholders and who would be convening, I'm just concerned if some of the voices are not present, how are we going to come to the best outcome for everyone involved? So are you saying that the town and city managers would be sort of repping for their fire?
There will be a steering committee. It hasn't been determined who will serve on that steering committee.
A steering committee?
Right, there's a steering committee, advisory committee that will represent the stakeholders, so that is the next step. Now, we have full awareness that our chair did host a meeting last week with the fire chiefs, and the conversation I had with our chair was if anything came out of that meeting that should be factored as part of this project scope, that will be relayed to me. I hadn't received anything at that time, but if there was something that did emerge from that, I'm sure that the group would be amenable to reflecting that in this study.
All right, well, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. And I do want to just go on notice as saying that I'm aware that there are contract negotiations going on.
That's correct.
At this time, and I certainly wouldn't want to get in the way of any of those kinds of things, so.
Yeah, and your sentiments are shared by the managers. They too are aware that there's negotiations going on with those MOUs, and they view this, I don't want to say it separately, but this is something can move forward while those negotiations are still occurring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Meyer? I'll
Thank
just
you.
come down this way.
One, what's the timeline? What do you think we're looking at?
The timeline has not been finalized. However, it is anticipated that the study the recommendations will be provided as part of our budget process. So we're looking at around February, March. Those are the conversations that we had at this point, but you just don't know until you put out an RFP, you receive responses, you pick someone, and then you can solidify the timeline. But going into this, we're looking at February.
Okay. And I do want to say to your question, Commissioner Rodriguez-Vidal, I did meet with the Charlotte Fire Chief, and he did have input on this document.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek?
Yes, let me say, I did not make the meeting at the fire station here, but in conversation, I'm waiting for, as you have presented, the recommendation of the manager, and I support your recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Lake.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just want to, Mr. Manager, I'm going to repeat what you said because I think it's really clear that you met with the managers of the respective municipalities within Mecklenburg County. I know what the city's situation is. I'm making an assumption about the small towns, that the fire chiefs work for those managers. Okay, the city works that way. Don't know about the rest of them, okay? But they were in agreement with what you just read in terms of the
agreement.
the
I have
process.
that in writing. I received an email on behalf of their spokesperson.
And there were no like red flags about.
We worked through the red flags. What you're seeing is the results of the consensus.
Commissioner Dunlap?
Thank you, sir.
I'm okay.
Commissioner Powell?
I do have something to say. I think we have to be really mindful about the words we all use because this is what, a lot of this was born in my district because they want faster response times. But I have never met a person that from Medic in any capacity that didn't want to get to an emergency as fast as they could. And we are the board for Medic. That we are the board for them. And this is what everyone asked for, a study. We are responding. I understand frustrations, but Medic cannot miraculously increase capacity overnight without the investment of helping them to create capacity now that staffing is better after COVID. And so I just want to be mindful of it because the people who work for Medic care deeply, and it is hard when you work in any kind of emergency management, like you're responding, you want to help, and people who aren't in your job are saying things and evaluating you, and it's dispiriting. And so I know that they are doing the best that they can, and I look forward to the results of this study so that we can help build capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
I was at the meeting last week with the fire chiefs, and I just want to make sure that you said that recommendations from our chair would come from that meeting, or if there were any, that they would be added. I know the study is separate, and I'm fine with that. It's just that I think probably the concern, at least what I heard in that room that day, was that in the interim, there needs to be recommendations from both sides that they can have a consensus on, where they can work in the interim until the timeline of the study is worked out, and then we can actually put the recommendations from the study into action. So that's the only concern that I have, because I think there's a need for like, this is bigger. Like, we're working in an era where we have so many tools at our disposal, and we're depending upon two different organizations that don't need to be making these types of decisions. That's not what their subject matter, their expertise lies. So I just wanted to make sure that there is some movement on interim, short-term things to be done while the study is being conducted.
You're absolutely correct, Commissioner Townsend Ingram. There, to the earlier point, there are negotiations that are still ongoing. And that's why, again, I thought it was important to bring to the board's attention to commend the managers for recognizing that while those negotiations are occurring, that we also need to get movement with this study here as well. And I just think that is admirable for them to do that, recognizing that those negotiations are moving instead of just holding that to hold up this progress here, which would delay the recommendations that you're alluding to. But instead, they were able to work through the red flags and come to an agreement and allow me to bring that to your attention and the public's attention tonight.
Thank you.
All right. You know, what I want to say is I really appreciate very much that Chairman Durrell was able to connect with all the chiefs and have a conversation with them and to convene, I think the first time in my knowledge that it's occurred, all the chiefs within Mecklenburg County and almost everybody on the board, because we really care, we really want to understand and support however we can. Something that is complex and difficult. I want to commend our manager and the town managers, you know, to have an agreement on how we're going to go forward, delivered on, I think, day one, first full day of your being county manager, is impressive. Clearly, you were on the job and doing great things prior to the dawn of July 1st. But it's really important, and I want you to know how much I see and appreciate the smooth transition for something that's very important, very fraught, that needs to be handled quickly and as professionally as possible. So thank you, Mr. Manager, and thank you to all the managers of the towns of Mecklenburg County and the city manager. So
There's no action.
no action item is
Just
required.
receive it for information.
Fantastic.
Now-
All right, then, are you ready to proceed?
I am. The second item, I am seeking board action, Madam Vice Chair. Just as some background, the board will recall that last week, the General Assembly passed the payback, and this morning, the governor signed it. And as a result of that, a vote by the Board of County Commissioners is required to place a referendum on the ballot for voters to decide on a dedicated funding source for transportation infrastructure. If approved, 40% will be spent on roads, 40% on transit, and 20% on buses. In preparation for the referendum, and this timeline considers your summer schedule. This is why I'm bringing this forward, okay? In preparation for the referendum, the board is asked to take the following actions for consideration. I'm asking that you call a special meeting on July 30th at 2 p.m. to take action on a resolution that outlines the specific language for the referendum. Also give proper notice and hold a public hearing at the August 6, 2025 regular meeting, and then take a vote at your August 6 regular meeting to place the item on the ballot. Now, if you're looking at the agenda item that I submitted earlier today, you will notice that it says the week of July 28th. However, I had Lisa survey your availability today, and the time that was most convenient for all of you is July 30th at 2 p.m. So that's why I'm recommending that time for you to meet and consider that. So, Madam Vice Chair, those are the actions that I'm asking the board to consider that factors your summer schedule and will allow the board, if they see fit, to take consideration on those items.
Okay, I will get to my colleagues, but just to be clear, on the front end, we are not in any way taking action on the PAVE Act. We're simply engaging in preliminary procedural notice items where we would then take up public forum and an actual vote on the underlying decision. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I saw a hand, Commissioner Dunlap.
I offer a motion that we adopt the manager's recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
We do that.
Thank you for that motion in the second. One moment. The motion is a little more complicated than that. Do you want me to give it to Commissioner Dunlap to re-articulate?
If you would amend the motion to reflect the specifics that we've discussed.
Okay, and Mr. Attorney, your verbiage is a little bit different than what this says. I can pass this.
That one is more accurate because
one?
it talks about the time and the place for the notice
Okay,
that he would not
so
have had.
Mr. Dunlap, if you will re-articulate the motion, then we'll take feedback. Actually, this sounds like the first motion, and it sounds like this one is the second. So, motion to schedule, there you go.
Okay.
Start here. A motion to schedule.
Okay, offer a motion to schedule a special meeting for July 30th, 2025 at 2 p.m. at the Government Center to take action on the proposed resolution containing language to be placed on the November ballot.
And do you want him to say the second part also?
He can combine them or take action on that portion.
And to schedule a public hearing at our August the 6th meeting at 6:30 p.m. to receive comments on the PAVE Act.
Second, that's the motion.
That's the motion, and it's been seconded. Okay, Commissioner Meyer.
I just want to know, when will we vote on it? In September? Did you say?
August 6th.
August
So it's
6th.
all on the same night?
August 6th.
Right,
We hear, yes, do we hear from the public and we vote that night?
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Yeah, I think that's sort of unusual. Don't we usually
Yeah.
take some time in between hearing from the public and casting
Can't
our
hear you.
votes? I think it's a bit unusual that we would be hearing from the public and casting our votes on the same night.
No, that's not.
I mean,
It's okay.
on something like this, I thought it was already scheduled for the beginning of September. So
September
this
3rd.
seems like a change, and I'm just double checking.
You need additional time for them to get it on the ballot, and speaking with the director of the Board of Elections, in order to get the ballots printed in enough time, it would be rushed for him. So that's why we made the public hearing, so the board could hear from the public, but then take action so that he would have the board's action item in enough time for him to print the ballots in order for it to be available for the general election.
Okay, one
So
last
this is
question.
time constraints because it took so long for it to move.
Okay. And one last question. At the meeting on July 28th, will the public be able to be heard at that meeting?
No.
July 30th. Can you clarify, Mr.
Saying
Manager?
the July 30th
The
meeting.
July 30th meeting
2
is
p.m.
a special meeting at 2 p.m.
Well, it is really for the board to take, it's not scheduled for the public hearing. It's simply scheduled for you to take action.
They can be heard at the August 6th meeting during the public hearing.
Got it. Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Yes, I have scheduled in District 2, 2 meetings. One at West Charlotte Center, and I'll put out the date on tomorrow. And the second one is at Steel Creek AME Zion Church. I've met with the people of the city council along with our acting chairperson tonight and have been impressed, but there are major issues that we have in District 2 as relates to the support or non-support. So we're not saying at this point what we'll do until we have that meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other, Commissioner Dunlap?
I just want to make it clear that we ought to always be available to hear from the public. And it doesn't have to be a particular night. The way this was set up, it clearly shows that the manager has taken into consideration the timeline so that it can be done in a timely fashion, so that it can be on the ballot. And the fact that there is a particular night, August 6th, where they're hearing from the public and voting on the item the same night is not unusual. We don't do it often, but we've done it before. So it is not that unusual.
Thank you. Commissioner Townsend Ingram?
And I want to make sure that we are explaining to people in whatever communication.
Just a little louder.
I want to make sure that we're explaining to the community that what we're deciding now is not yes or no on the actual tax. That's the confusion that I have been hearing, that I have been getting from people. We've gotten approval now to actually put a referendum on the ballot. That is all that is being discussed, the language of the referendum on the ballot, not yes or no. So the community will have plenty of time to comment on that and to get information about that. We have been doing that all along too, and I think now we just have to ramp that up. But as far as, taking action, we're just getting together the language and saying yes. It's basically a technicality to say yes, we're going to put something on the ballot in November, because that's what people are confused about.
Commissioner Griffin?
Yeah, let me just say, at one point I'd heard something about September, but I had no conversation with any of the players in the community. The manager apparently has talked to the elections supervisor and others, and have indicated that this sequence of events would work for everybody.
That is accurate. I met with Elections Director Michael Dickerson and our county attorney on Friday to develop this timeline, anticipating that the governor was going to sign today.
And the purpose of this is to announce that we're going to have a public hearing and a vote on August the 6th. Right. And this is a heck of a long time. So if you got reporters in the auditorium, and I'm sure she's going to record this and put this out, but I'm sure people will be able to communicate what their feelings are, and we'll get prepared for August 6th. So.
All right. Oh, yes, ma'am.
And with the hearings that we're having within the confines of the community is not to take a vote, but to hear the information from the city and to see how amenable it is to the various districts that would be served by this process. So that's what we want to make sure that we are clear on. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your preparation on your first night to us, that you have been working on it and giving us a recommendation. So I'm going to support your recommendation.
All right, I think we've heard from everybody. The only thing I want to say is, as the community learns about this, I just want to give a shout out and recommend to listen to the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum video from today, because there was amazing Q&A from former Secretary of Transportation Anthony Fox, probably the most knowledgeable person this community can ever call upon to understand these big transportation issues and to talk through what matters to us locally. And so I would just commend that to anybody. If you need the link, reach out to us or to me. I can definitely send it to you. So the motion having been made and properly seconded and discussion had, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And any opposed? So, I'm sorry, did you raise your hand one way or another?
I didn't.
So you're not, are you voting yes or no?
I'm just.
I think you have a duty to vote yes or no if
I
you're
thought
at
it was
the dais.
automatically a yes if you don't vote no, so, because since
Sorry?
I'm present.
It
I thought
is.
it was an automatically yes if I'm
It
present.
Oh, okay. So you're not raising your hand, but therefore it'll be counted as a yes, and we are 8-0. Thank you.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. We are now at the consent portion of our agenda. Is there a motion to approve all those items?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then all those are approved. And at this time, I will turn to Commissioner Leek for item number 25-0379.
79, construction contract, Mountain Island Library Building System Replacement. We'd like to know if that has taken place and who's going to serve as the representative from this board.
Yeah, this project is expected to be completed by April of 2026. It is a result of a competitive bidding process which does not include a construction manager to manage the contract. Construction managers are used only for projects with construction managers at risk delivery.
And let me say thank you to that. I attended a meeting on yesterday, which was Monday, after the meeting we had here, and I let them know that I had not been appointed to serve for 2 years to represent my district. And I was happy to be back, and they were receptive of my comments. So moved, Madam Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passes. Commissioner Leek, item 26-0387.
Energy Program Outreach Plan. How will that impact the general community?
Yeah, to raise awareness, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services requires review and approval for the Crisis Intervention Program and Low-Income Energy Assistance Program Outreach Plan. This plan is a framework to assure that eligible households are made aware of the assistance available through these programs.
Thank you. I heard on the news something about asking property owners or homeowners now to put air conditioning, so that's something that they will have to do. So I so move as it relates to this item, Energy Program Outreach Program.
Thank you. Having
So
been
moved.
moved and properly seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passes. All right, item 25-0396, Commissioner Leek.
Let me say thank you again. This deals specifically with public awareness, giving a summary, and I want to make sure this deals specifically with behavioral health program manager. And hopefully we have read that information and understand it carefully. So will you speak to it, Mr. Chairman? Mr.
Yes,
Manager.
Commissioner Leek. Regarding the summary, the county received a recommendation from the Community Opioid Resources Engine, which is a collaborative partnership between the North Carolina Department of Justice, the NCACC,
Can't hear you, got to speak a little louder.
the NCAC, and UNC, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, that oversees opioid settlements to revise the resolution and include text regarding naloxone distribution funding that was in the initial opioid settlements Wave 1 resolution in May of 2023. The funding had already been expended, but CORE North Carolina wanted to include this text to be consistent with the earlier resolution.
I see that. So moved, Madam Chair. Many communities are suffering because of the impact that the drugs are having on the community. And I'm happy to know that we are the government, and especially Raleigh, is that it, making sure that we control what happens in our community. So we are asking us to support this in 100%. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Madam Chairman, I'm sorry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passes. Final item, 25-0398, Commissioner Leek.
This deals again with the settlement. How much, and you may not have that on hand right now, did Mecklenburg County receive for this settlement?
This amount, Commissioner Leek, has not yet been determined as to each specific county because they don't know yet which counties will actually buy into the settlement amount. And they won't know that until this is for us to participate, this is their authority to participate, but they don't know what the proportion will be for any county until they know who will participate and how it will be apportioned.
So they're asking us to participate in this process?
Well, it's recommended we do participate.
I said that's being
Yes.
recommended. So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it passes. And we are now at Commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
No report.
Commissioner Meyer.
No report.
Commissioner Lee.
On Monday, we had a wonderful session in this facility as we sit here today. And to commemorate this, as one woman said to me at the reception, Commissioner Leek, you talked about ancestors at one of your sessions. I said, I surely did. And I still speak to that fact, that we would not be sitting here if it were not for our ancestors fighting for the right for us to be here. And I pray that in the future, that we will continue. And yesterday, I want to commend the staff and the persons who put it together, the program, the participants. It was a wonderful experience for this community. Every seat was taken in here. There was not a vacant seat in this facility, nor was there one around the wall because people were standing. The second was spillover rooms. And I'm just humbly grateful to this community for stepping out and saying to us as a body of the selection and the services that we give to this community is well received and was proven on yesterday. So, Mr. Bryant, to you and your family, thank you so, I can't see him, I want to look at him. So I want to say to you, thank you for offering yourself of the 20 years that you've served in this community, not 5, not 6, but 20 years. If you don't know it by now, you won't know it. So you certainly have been an asset to this community with your family, your reputation. Your pastor was here. And I said to Pastor Jones, as we always say to each other, he can preach a penny to heaven. So thank you for having him with us and giving us an opportunity as county commissioners to participate. We only advise. You make the decisions as it relates to what we will do. So thank you, public. District 2, thank you, and all of us. Many of us may not see it again, but we saw it last night. We didn't get any bugs on us, and we didn't hear anything negative. So all of you, thank you.
Thank you.
I just needed to say that for District 2 and for myself. I do represent young people, middle-aged people, old people, deaf people, blind people, but I had to speak to the disparities of those who are handicapped. And will continue to speak to it and talk about what was said to me as it relates to my disability at that time. We're not going to support you. You have to get in here the best way you can. Thank you.
Commissioner Griffin.
No report.
Commissioner Dunlap.
No report.
Commissioner Powell.
I have a report. So in Mecklenburg County, if you put a tent up, you have to have a permit. You have to put a fire extinguisher in there. If it has no sidewalls, you have to have an exit sign. We take really good care of things on the ground. When it's within the water, our marine commissions are extremely important. There's a lot of, with the population growth, there's a lot of recklessness happening on our lakes. In 2014, I was at the meeting when the Mountain Island Lake Marine Commission was dissolved, when Gaston County pulled out. It has still not been reestablished 11 years later. Last night, I went to the last Lake Norman Marine Commission meeting. It dissolved yesterday because Lincoln County pulled out. There will be unintended consequences from dissolving the Marine Commission. There is legislation that went through, waiting for the governor's signature on HB 23, version 4. And I just want everyone to know that I worked so closely with Commissioner Barbara Beatty from Catawba County to make it the best, nothing's perfect, to make it the best that it could be. And I sent it all to you in case you had input. Nothing's perfect, but I'll tell you, it was just really nice to work with a commissioner from another county who was so committed to making sure that what we do on the lake is the best for the public. And she had a really hard time not crying last night. So we stood together, but it was just really hard. I'm going to look for the rainbows, like when we get the new Marine Commission, making sure that we do it the best possible way and that we have an interview committee to interview the people that apply so that as the future goes on, we have people who understand all the aspects of what's happening on the lake and how important it is for safety, for recreation, for environmental protection. And I just wanted to keep you updated on that because what happens on the water matters. And if you look at a picture of my district, like if you look at it, there's a big part of water in there. And so it's like, I take that seriously. Like, even though the water didn't elect me, I have to take care of it.
People in the water did.
But people in the water, yeah. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
So I do have a report. I wanted to echo the fact that the county manager's swearing-in ceremony was absolutely joyful. We got a lot of hostility in politics and government, that kind of thing. So it was a really nice, if it's recorded, so if anybody wants to just have like a moment and go back and look at it, it was really nice. And also, I love my pastor too. Our pastor, Pastor Jones, also is a welcome addition. I wanted to announce also, in light of the fact that I want to lift up collaboration between governments, I am going to be having a town hall with regard to small minority economic development, and I was so happy to hear you talk about international connections when you made your speech yesterday. It is with the City of Charlotte, with a couple of international groups that have ties in Mecklenburg County, but also with the international community. It'll be held at the Eastway Recreational Center, which I thought was actually, it's actually in District 3. I thought it was in District 4, because District 4, I think, is the most diverse, but it's in District 3, I was told. But it's on July 17th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Rec Center, and I'll be providing some additional information, but I think it'll be very beneficial to make those connections, communications to the community. That concludes my report. July 17th at the Eastway Rec.
All right.
Not on the date of your birthday. Party.
Oh, that's cool.
Good answer.
All right, I will round it out here to say I was, of course, at the swearing-in also. It was so beautiful, so moving. Honestly, I think there was a lot of people moved. It was incredible. And we are so blessed to have you, Mr. Manager, at the helm. And I know all of us just support you 1,000%. And I'm excited about the work ahead and all the great things you're going to do and how you're going to lead and where you're going to take us under your leadership. So congratulations again. I would like to give a shout out to Attorney Lizette Nimmons, our Intergovernmental Affairs Manager, who is awesome. She has been working extra hard over the last little bit here up in Raleigh, and we also are so blessed to have you on the team. You are a star player, so thank you. And, you know, we are going to turn in earnest to have a community conversation about the 1 cent sales tax and what it can mean for this community. And there are a lot of hard questions, and I want to hear them all. We need to have that dialogue. There's a lot at stake. I want to give you my email. It's lee.altman@MeckNC.gov. If you would like for me to send you PDF that'll show your area of the county and the road, rail, and or bus improvements that are planned under the plan. But the bottom line is that the plan, the transit plan, is expected to extend transportation access to 450,000 residents and a community of 1.1 million people. And it is anticipated to bring in $24 billion to build out a world-class transit system, which means it would be the largest economic development opportunity in this county's history. So there's a lot at stake, and let's ask the hard questions and have the dialogue, and just know that I'm here to support that dialogue however possible, and thank you. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
All right, just for you.